Okay, so let's talk real quick. I got some inspiration earlier when one of my friends kind of made mention of a little cattiness going on spiritual Twitter. Okay, so that led me to this video that I wanted to make here about why it is okay to practice your own way, okay? And why is this not a threat for other people to do the same thing, to have the same practices, and it's okay for it to be a little different, okay? So, a lot of us in the spiritual community. So, let me pause before I start and clarify. There is a difference between being an eclectic witch that does a little bit of a little bit of everything, and just does things their own way. Okay, you're eclectic spiritualist, witch, whatever, however you want to label it, that's up to you, how you do your labels, okay? So there's a little difference there. Between that as in I do things my way because this is what feels good to me. This feels good like ancestrally because I got my ancestors over my shoulders telling me, hey, pour this that way, pray this over that, mix this ingredient with that, whatever works for you. And that's great. That's wonderful, okay? So there's a difference between that and participating in certain rites or practices that are in a certain practice or religion that requires initiation and some type of study and training, okay? That is a difference. I'm not going to dwell too long on that topic, but I do need to clarify that because some people I've also noticed don't understand the difference between that. If that is a religion or practice which you have to be initiated, that means you have to go through certain training, certain rites and stuff that you have to learn in order to be able to practice certain things, because there's a knowledge base behind that you have to know before you touch it. And it has to be taught to you or granted to you by spirit and or a knowledgeable person in that area, in that practice, in that religion, before you can get really involved in it, okay? So let me clarify that. I'm not going to talk on that too long because I'm probably going to make a separate video about that. But let's clarify, right? The initiated path, okay? And then you have I go my own way. Because I'm all about go your own way. If you feel like a certain religion or path is not for you, it's not your calling, you can either go find another religion or path to practice for you, or you can create your own. I personally chose to create my own in the beginning, and I am also, though, currently finding a practice that maybe will suit me. I don't have an issue with being initiated anymore, but that's another story for another day. So now we got getting that out of the way. So let's talk about how it is okay for someone to practice a little different from you. Okay, I wouldn't ever think that I would have to explain that to somebody. Okay, because the whole thing about doing this whole spiritual freedom thing is for you to practice what you believe and what works for you. Okay. And now we have distinguished from you, oh, I like what this person is doing in there with this certain practice. Let's say voodoo, for instance. Or let's say Wicca. Okay. I like this practice, so I'm going to do these things over here, and I'm just going to claim myself as that. And it's like, whoa, wait, did you do the proper training and practice and like do the learning before you just jumped into it and labeled yourself that? Again, it's not a video, but we've established that that's not what we're doing. We're just going our own way. This is how I learned. This is how this works for me. Okay, then that's fine. So if someone else, another witch, another spiritualist, so on and so forth, if they're doing say like a honey jar, they're doing something like that, or say they're making a little love potion, a love spell, or they're doing something a certain way and it doesn't sit right with you, then that's on you, okay? That's in your spirit. Maybe they're following their own spirit. You can ask questions. You can ask. But it's not up to you to judge them. That's the whole reason a lot of us walk away from certain world major religions, because a lot of these religions, people in these religions judge you because you don't fall in line with their customs and their ways of life, okay? And they judge you and stuff, saying, hey, how about we get you back on the right path? Let's get you on this path. Is this what you want to do? Let's get you on that path. So I'm really trying to find the most PC way of saying this. So since I can't, I'm just gonna flat out say it. Mind your damn business, okay? It is not a fucking competition. It's not. It's not a fucking competition. I swear to you, God, it's not. I swear it's not. Ask your ancestors, okay? Ask your spirit guides. Ask your angels. Ask your deities. Ask your damn higher self. It's not a goddamn contest. We're here to help each other, uplift each other, or mind your damn business. Okay? Because some of us, we are here to mind our damn business. I'm minding my business, I keep my mouth shut, keep my head low, and I'm doing what I'm here to do and carrying the fuck on, okay? Now some of us, we're here to uplift others and teach and group them in and help them out. This is not a contest to see who is the most spiritual, who is the baddest witch. This ain't the goddamn contest. Because let me tell you something. If you have to open your mouth and say all this shit about you being this and you being great, or some people can't do this, or attacking other people, then you're not as great as you say you are. That's my personal opinion. That is my take on this. And that's why I make this video. Because if you have to boast, and I've noticed this a lot of times, if you have to boast and say, oh, I practice this, or I do this, or I'm great with this, and you don't know because you don't want to mess with me because I got this. If you have to fucking make that proclamation, 9 times out of 10, in my experience of witnessing these things, in my observations, you're more so proving that to yourself than anybody else. You're more so trying to make yourself believe that than anybody else. Okay? And it's also coming from personal experience. Somebody tried to threaten me with that shit. Oh, you don't know because I practice Santeria and Santa Muerte. It's really? Because if you did, you would know you couldn't do both. That is probably not likely that you do both. You usually do one or the other. Because if you do Santeria, that's something you have to, be initiated in. And it's very costly. It's very expensive. You're spending thousands of dollars, okay, to get into this stuff. Especially if you want to get to the priesthood part of it, So I'm pretty sure you don't. So it's stuff like that. It's pick your battles, knowing who you're up against if you want to take that leap on the battle with somebody, and doing your fucking research, okay? What I'm noticing is it's a bunch of baby witches out here proclaiming to be such high-end people or such learned witches. I'm not knocking what you do know, what you have experienced, what you learn, but I'm just saying, again, it's all from my perspective and my observations of what I'm seeing. A lot of these people, they're claiming, oh, they're so high up, or they know so much, or they, you don't want to fuck with them, or I'm more spiritual than you, I've had more experiences than you, so on and so forth. A lot of people who have to run their mouth and say all that stuff, they're really not as high up as they think they are. Because what I've noticed, and this is, again, not an attack on anybody. This is not aimed at anybody specific. I've just been hearing and seeing these comments about, the drama, and I want to deal with it, and why are people doing this? And I'm just why are people doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we fighting ourselves? For what? Elevate them. They're not where they think they are. They're not where they think they should be. Okay, well, let me learn you something real quick, and let's elevate you. Or let me send you back to the library so you can do some reading, Watch some YouTube videos. So I can tell you one thing, YouTube wasn't a big thing for the spiritual side of things when I was coming into, when I had my spiritual awakening. I had to learn, I had to read, I had to read books. And I had to scour the internet for articles in the dark webs. I had to read. So the fact that people have YouTube videos out there, it's a blessing and a curse, because some people are not putting out information that's substantial enough. But work was whatever best for you. The thing about spirituality, guys, is there's so many different paths and so many different ways of doing things. Just because it doesn't make sense to you or it doesn't sit well with you, that's not your problem to have. What you do is, I hate to say this, the Christian ways, you pray for them. You put it out there in the universe. I hope they find their way, because I don't agree with what they're doing. I think, now it's a different story if they're hurting someone or themselves. Then it's kind of you fucking up a lot of shit over there. Let's talk about how we can do better. And I know some people don't want to talk about it. Like, it's not my problem. Figure it out. Learn the hard way. But it's the fact that people are going back and forth. I don't agree with it. I don't understand. But what I've learned in my journey and with talking with other people, we always think that we know so much or have experienced so much and that have such an experience level. But we fail to realize that there's always more to learn. There's always more to grow into. There's always more. Okay? There's always more. There's always a higher. Okay? So you're always going to have something to study and reach and aspire to be, to learn, to experience. Okay? It's like that terrible produced movie, Lucy, I think is what it's called, with Scarlett Johansson. Until she reached this ultimate like state of being where she just was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's similar to that. They weren't too far off with that. I'm not gonna lie. It's just, it was just a very poorly done movie. I just it could have been so much better. It's like they spent all the money on the actress instead of the actual movie itself and the storyline and the production of it. And I'm just back to the point. So until you reach there, which you're not gonna reach there like you think you are. Okay, so let's calm it down a little bit. Just keep growing. Okay, drink your water, mind your business. Keep learning, keep growing, keep studying, uplift people when you can, educate people when you can. And if they're not receptive to your education, then mind your fucking business again. Okay, because Spirit gonna let them know that they fucking up. Spirit gonna let them down real hard or real easy, depending on them and their path, okay? But that's my little PSA announcement. This is going on Instagram and on YouTube. Because I have been seeing this like going around on Instagram, people talk about the cattiness and the bickering and arguing on these social media platforms, even Twitter or whatever, about it's like who can out spiritual each other, like, oh, I'm more than I don't get it. So that's just my advice from a wise old one. I look young. I probably am younger than, I know at my group I'm the youngest one, I think. But you know, that's just my experience, and that's my knowledge, that's my wisdom. That is my sound advice in general. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, fine. If you hate it, I really don't care. Leave some hate messages if you want to. Leave some love messages. But let your light shine. Have a good one, and I'll see y'all next time.